Building a family compound. Everything you need to know about building your own family subdivision. First up, you are acting as a developer. What is a developer, you ask? Well, essentially a developer, think about a piece of farmland, okay? Maybe something that's 50 acres that a person goes and buys, all right? This is the developer. They see the opportunity, they look at the farmland, it's one big 50-acre piece of land. So how do you take the 50-acre piece of land and make it into 100 homes, into a subdivision? Well, you have to build your infrastructure, all right? And that's essentially what you're trying to do in a very smaller format with a family compound. So you've got your 50 acres piece back to the developer, and then they have to get everything surveyed, okay? So essentially you're gonna get with an architect for a site plan, and they would build out where all the homes are gonna go, all the lots, the sizing of the lots. The county will dictate all of that. Where your roads are going to go, and all of the setbacks and all of that kind of stuff. When you're going in the big scheme of a subdivision, let's kind of put that same concept into play when it comes to a family compound. So essentially you're buying, let's just say in this case, 20 acres. You're trying to separate this into 4 separate parcels. So first you would find your 20 acres. You would then need to get a perk test or a soil test with a soil scientist in order to determine where your home sites are going to need to be in conjunction with your septic sites, okay? So you would need to get the soil scientist and pay them to go out and find 4 septic sites and figure out what the bedroom count is going to be for each one of those. That would dictate what size home you can build on each of those parcels. So you have 20 acres. Now you've hired the soil scientist to go out. They have determined, hey, we found 4 septic locations. They're all 3 bedrooms or etc. And now you know roughly where those homes are going to sit in conjunction with the septic. From here, there would need to be a survey done in order to separate that. But typically you would need to own the land first, unless you can coordinate that with a seller in order to do it all at the same time, but that's a little tricky. And there's a lot of details in and out of this. I'm trying to give you somewhat of a high-level overview of this, but you need to get the land, figure out that. The soil scientist determines the septic sites. Then you have a survey to separate those septic locations or home sites into maybe 4 or 5 acre parcels at that point. You also have to figure out where your driveway, right? Your driveway's coming in, and that would be an easement essentially into the property that the other homes would be using, branching off essentially, in order to do that. So you normally will have to have a kind of an easement recorded, unless you found the perfect piece of land that has 20 acres with a ton of road frontage where you can separate them all and each person would have their own driveway right off the road. But typically it doesn't work like that. Usually it's all one piece and you have a driveway that goes in